Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul. It is another cold and rainy day in Northwest Connecticut. Actually, the last day before we get our first hard freeze. It's going to drop down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. So that means it's time for me to get my trees that are not that cold hardy, like my maples, coastal redwoods, and other deciduous trees, down into my basement. The basement will maintain between 40 and 45 degrees throughout the winter, which will allow them to go into dormancy, get a lot of good rest, and build up energy for the spring. I was really undecided on whether I was going to leave some of them outside this year and just protect them like I did with my pine trees and others, which is on my previous video if you want to check that out. So I pulled the masses, and my good buddy Ian from Back Garden Bonsai, he helped me out, and he found, the cold hardiness levels for like my black locust and other trees, to say, you might want to bring them inside. And my good friend from Southwest Connecticut, Matt Brennan, he confirmed that, when trees are in pots, they can handle two less on the number on the cold hardiness chart. So if you don't know what I'm talking about on cold hardiness, you go to your zone, you Google it, and each area you're in is assessed a number. The higher the number, the more heat resistant. The lower the number, the more cold resistant. So what you do, I'm in 5B, is you take 5B and you minus 2. So my trees that are able to grow up to zone 3, they're capable of being left in pots outside for the winter, obviously protected. But my other ones, they are maybe rated down to a zone 5, but in pots, they're just going to be too susceptible to freezing too hard and not be able to come out of dormancy come the spring. So since I have younger trees, they're usually, most of them are 3 years or younger, I'm going to err on the side of caution, and we're going to get all those trees down into the basement. I have a shelving system set up, and I think I'm going to be set up for success this year. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so we're down in the basement. So this thing is great. It's huge. Basically the whole base of my ranch. So I get to store, all my summer gear, my paddle boards. This is Laura's workshop. She refurbishes furniture that either, people are giving away or I find on the side of the road, and with its nice hardy wood, I bring it home to her and she gets creative. This thing is so cool. This is actually a functioning mini fridge that was just left out of somebody's house. I think that'll either be great to sell to somebody for their man cave, or actually I don't know where we would use it, so we'll probably sell that one. So that's what we do on the side. And then even all these paints and materials, all giveaways. So she has the talent and I have equal parts resourcefulness and cheapness. So that's where we get all the stuff for that. It's a lot of fun. And I've got my little seed set up over here. I've got grow lights down below, and then a nice grow light up here with my seed warming mats. I'm taking a season off from growing trees from seed because I have so many that I don't want to get distracted, because they really take a lot of maintenance. So excuse this mess, but I saved the cardboard because I use it as weed barrier. It doesn't mess with the environment, and that below some wood chips really serves as like those weed barriers that you pay a lot of money for at Home Depot and other big box stores. So this is going to be my setup. So I set up the drip trays up here. I'm going to add more drip trays as needed. Depending on, you don't have to water trees that much when they're in dormancy, but you don't want them to completely dry out either. So I've got little shelves here, drip tray, these drip trays. I'll use this greenhouse. I've got some more over here. And it's hard to tell how much room you're going to need until you actually get into it. So This is my preliminary setup. I think it's upping myself from last year, where I had what I called the basement greenhouse, and I got these full spectrum grow lights to put in the ceiling. And I use too much light because the light coming in from the windows should be just enough. Like pretty much total darkness is fine for dormancy. So I really think I messed with the trees like natural cycle and confused them on what season they thought it was. And so a lot of my pines, my baby pines, just completely burnt up. And so I didn't lose that many trees, but it was enough to know that I needed a radical change. So I did a lot of research in the off season, conferred with my consigliere at Back Garden Bonsai, and really came up with what I think is a solid plan. So I'm excited about it. Millie's excited about it. I can't believe it took you this long to come down here, baby girl. Who's a good girl? So anyways, it's really pouring right now. Once it settles down a little bit, Laura and I are going to start making the trips up and down the basement stairs. So it'll be a nice little workout for us. And we'll get all set up for the winter. All right, y'all. So it doesn't take long to figure out that you have too many trees for the stations you have set up. So I brought over these really thick gym mats. I used them last year and they worked pretty well. I'll just have to get some drip trays for these down here. But you see, filled in nicely. Had some nice growth on this weeping fig this year. I'm sure Franny will be coming down here this weekend and grabbing these figs as she's coming home for the weekend. My coastal redwoods grew very nicely. Yeah, I like this setup. I like it a lot. Zelkovas, trident maples. All right. So let me show you the exciting part of my day coming up. So Laura got some beef shanks yesterday. So it's a nice, cold, rainy day. And what's better on a day like that than having some stew? So we've got some patty pan squash, tomatoes, carrot, sweet potatoes. And here I chopped up asparagus, green pepper, and a whole white onion. And there are the shanks. Beautiful. Very excited. So I'm going to be smelling that while I get everything organized. And, oh yeah, let me show you something else. So refinishing the furniture. This was an old stained up black piece that she used as her office desk. So that is our new dining room table. She redid this china hutch. My bonsai bench, and she does like this oil wax finish, so even when I miss, it beads up nicely and I can wipe it up before it damages the wood. And then in here, she made me another bonsai bench. I love the dark blue underneath and that dark stain up above. So before, her desk table was here and it came up to about there on the window and blocked half our view. So I'm really loving this. And then over here, she redid this old, I don't know, bench, mudroom bench, something like that, toy chest. For another one, once again, I had a high chair and shelf set up that blocked half the window. So this really opened things up for us and made our living room look that much bigger. And over here, she calls me her Viking, and I call her Catwoman. And so she redid this coffee table to be a chalk table so we could leave each other notes if need be. And then this one, this was just like an old coffee table from our friend she was going to throw out. So these seats actually have storage. Laura redid the top and added a piece of glass so that she could put our pictures in there from all of our travels and such. So, yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai, y'all. I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. I'm going to go downstairs while Laura's cooking and get all of that resituated and organized. That's like my favorite part, getting all the species together and making everything fit like a Tetris puzzle to make the most sense for the next season. So if you have any questions or comments on winterizing your trees, go ahead, leave them below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, there's plenty playlists from before, and there's plenty more to come from the ranch. Take care, y'all. Cheers.